Came in the office, sat down with Matthew, and, I just said, hey, I think my time at Evernest is done. And the Lord just told me, it's time to move on from Evernest.
The organization is 15, 16 years old now.
That's correct. Yep.
And it's continued to grow while you left it.
He said, Spencer, you're the person I was thinking of when I was creating the role. And I said, well, what's the role?
We've had an awesome run. You are a huge part of, what we've built this thing to, and, could easily continue to go.
So this will be really tough. Gee whiz. I mean, the thing that I have loved, cut this out. All right, everybody, welcome back to another episode of the Evernest Property Management Show. I am one of your hosts, Spencer Sutton, and today I'm joined by my co-host of the past 6 years, Matthew Whitaker. Matthew, welcome back to the studio.
Have we been doing it for 6 years already?
Yeah, we started recording in COVID 2020.
Yeah.
And I remember we recorded, I think, the first 5 episodes.
Yeah. So we're coming up on 5 full years then.
Yeah. Okay.
Always like a marketer exaggerating. Rounding up.
Oh, no. This is 10 years we've been doing this. It's been fantastic.
But I did see, we're in the mid 100s of shows, so that's pretty impressive.
Yeah. We have kept it going. We've had a couple of breaks there where we took a few breaks when things got super busy. And picked it back up, but we've been pretty consistent here this year.
Well, we are reminiscing because today's a very special episode, right?
It is, yeah. Real special episode.
Well, do you want to tell all the adoring fans?
Sure,
yes.
The adoring fans. Yeah, you want me to tell the story?
I think you should tell the story.
Yeah, good. Okay, so, man, it's just been, it was 2 weeks yesterday that I came and talked to you. And just, I sat down with Matthew 2 weeks ago, came in his office, and I didn't really know how to approach this conversation, honestly, because I was just like, what do I say to Matthew?
Because usually you come in and I berate you for
right.
30 or 45 minutes.
That's right. Well, that's why I never come into your office. So when I came in your office, you knew something was up.
I was like, I don't have any good material right now.
Yeah, I was like, I wanted to ambush you. So came in the office, sat down with Matthew, and I just said, hey, I think my time at Evernest is done. And you took it. I mean, you were just like, okay. All right. And then you came and sat down.
Yeah.
And
I think I said, can we start paying you or something like that?
I was like, you said you stopped volunteering already?
Yeah, you can't do that.
No. So Matthew sat down. We sat down a couple of chairs in his office, and I was just telling him kind of the story of just something I had sensed something was shifting in me a little bit. I don't really know what it was, but I had been praying with a good buddy of mine who's a pastor here in town, and we got together every Monday morning at 7:00 and would pray, and just kind of wrestling through some things that were on my heart. And then I ran into a mutual friend of ours at lunch, and he texted me. We just said, hey, what's up, whatever. And then he texted me like an hour later and said, hey, I think you should read this book. I just got finished reading it. It's fantastic. I think you'll love it, whatever.
Now, he's no longer one of my friends, but he's still your friend.
Right. It's just a book recommendation. I was like, thanks, Jim. And I had a credit on Audible, so I just downloaded it right then and listened to it on the way home. And I was like, wow, this is really, really good. The book is by a guy named Jamie Winship, and the book is called Living Fearless. And it's so anyway, I was reading it, and so it was so good, I had to buy a hard copy, and I just started kind of going through, highlighting and underlining because I really wanted to absorb it. And probably about 3 days in, I knew the Lord was, and this was not long ago, and the Lord just told me, it's time to move on from Evernest.
Yeah.
I really sensed that leading, and I was like, wow, well, what does that mean? I don't have any idea what that means. I had no clue.
Right. And I mean, to add some color, you're kind of at the top of your game over here. You're recording a couple of podcasts a week.
Recording other content,
you're
got the
recording
YouTube
tons of
video.
content. Yeah. So like
enjoying it, have a great team here in the marketing department, kind of have watched.
We basically took all the hard work off of you. It was only easy work at this point.
That is the interesting thing. And I told the marketing team today, I was like, the great thing is what happened is I did a delegate and elevate exercise at the beginning of the year. And I showed it to Kayleen, and she was like, all the things that you're not good at and don't like doing, I'm good at those. And I enjoy doing those. And she goes, why don't you pass those off to me? So I really had gotten a lot of that off my plate. And she had really taken ownership of the marketing department and allowed me to kind of live in my, work in my sweet spot.
Yeah, that's
just
right.
in my sweet spot, what I'm good at. And it only took 11 years or 10 years at that point. So... for many years I was all by myself, but it's been great with the team. And so anyway, what does that mean? I don't know. I went home and started talking to Allison. I was like, I think I'm supposed to leave. I don't know what that means. And she's like, what are you going to do? And I said, I don't know. I have no idea. And so I sat on it for a little bit, for a few days. And then I said, I need to at least tell some people, just kind of let some people that I'm close with know. And one of those people I happened to message, his name's Matt Letourneau. He's the CEO at Neverthirst, which is the nonprofit I started in 2008.
Yep.
I actually took Matthew, took you to India when we were just starting that. That was early in 2009. We went to India.
Yeah.
When we didn't really even know what we were doing. One
of the most horrible and great trips I've ever been on.
That's right. Eye-opening trips. If you've never been to Varanasi, you should really do it. So anyway, I messaged Matt and I said, hey, love to talk to you sometime. He said, I'm in Atlanta. I'll call you on the way home. I said, great. He called me later that afternoon and he said, what's up? And I said, hey, I just want to let you know. Now, he's the CEO of the organization that I started, and I had done some consulting for them and done a marketing audit for them and told them, hey, these things, that was a year ago, and just kind of giving them some advice. And I said...
And you ran that organization for how long?
I ran that organization for 5 years.
For 5 years, and you've been here over a decade. So
that's right.
The organization is 15, 16 years old now.
That's correct, yep.
And it's continued to grow while you left it.
Yeah, good point. So I think when I left, we raised $1.2 million. We started with nothing, had nothing. I think the first year we raised $200-something thousand, and one person gave $100,000. So that's we really started with nothing, and just continued to grow it. And that's really actually where I learned kind of marketing. It was I had to tell stories. I had to figure out what resonated with people and say, hey, here's what's going on in the field. I know you can't be there and you can't see it, but this is what's happening. So
and just for context, what does Neverthirst do?
Yeah, sorry. Neverthirst provides access to clean water in developing remote countries. Now, it is a Christian organization, so the kind of the spin on this is it's not just clean water. We partner also with local pastors. We partner with them to go into these communities and provide access to clean water. And there are communities that they're ministering in.
Yeah, a perfect way of one of the things we saw was sometimes you would build the well in the pastor's backyard.
Yeah, that's right.
So that
close by. That's right.
He or she could, or I guess he could interact with
the community. And these are communities that are living without access to clean water. And so what you have women and children. Predominantly are the ones that go out and gather water, and they walk for miles every day and spend hours collecting, a lot of times, just dirty water.
Yeah.
And they come
we
home,
saw a lot of that, and it was
disgusting.
Really bad.
Yeah. And they're coming home and they're drinking it, they're cooking with it, they're cleaning with it. They're doing everything with this dirty water. And as a result of that, you've got millions of kids that die every year from preventable diseases, waterborne diseases.
And so 16 years ago, you had a passion for this and started really small.
Yeah,
and started growing it. And what did
started out of the great financial crisis, right? So you started Evernest in 2008. I started Neverthirst.
Yep.
And because I started traveling internationally, I gave you our rental houses.
That's right. So for people that don't know, I always tell the story. I actually told it today. I started with my 30 rental homes, but then you gave me 25 or 30 as well. Yeah. And so I was able to start with 55 or 60 homes.
Yeah. So So that's
And,
what
that
Neverthirst
gave me
does.
the opportunity to, like, if there was a work order on my house, I could just charge it to your house and
Right. Yeah,
and pay for it.
I sure wasn't paying
I
attention.
made double the money then.
I think the earliest, you started with your 30. I think the earliest statement that I found from our group that you managed our houses was in the fall of 2008. So you're probably,
Is that right?
yeah. So I'll let you get your.
I got my feet underneath
got a little of
me.
your feet under you with your 30 houses, and then I probably begged you to take ours.
Or did we? I mean, the other thing, I don't know that we maybe even sent out statements. Like, it's possible we didn't send out statements for the first 6 months.
Yeah, I have it. So from
But I mean, it's possible I took it over in March and we didn't start sending out
that's
statements
true.
till
until you
September,
found a software.
October. Yeah,
until
I mean,
you found a software that worked.
we were just like, just trust us. We'll send you the money.
Well,
Whatever money we have left over,
We
we'll
did
send
trust you because Brian helped me go through an eviction, and that was the last time I wanted to touch anything like that. So, yeah. So Neverthirst has grown over the years. It's done tremendous. I've have enjoyed watching it. Now it's right now. I think this year it'll be a $10 million organization this year.
So is it 10 times bigger than when you left?
Yeah, it's 10 times bigger. Yeah, I left at 1.2, and it's going to be 10.5 or so this year.
That's great.
Yeah, so it's fantastic, and
so you're talking to the Neverthirst,
I
Neverthirst.
just told him, I was like, hey, listen, I just want to let you know. I told him the same thing I'm telling you. Like, reading this book, God's clearly told me I'm leaving Evernest. I don't know what that
done with
looks
Matthew. I'm leaving Evernest.
It doesn't have anything to do with Matthew or anything. Zero ill feelings. Have a great team, a great role in the company.
Yeah.
I actually love what I do.
I think this is kind of important for people because we often talk about, like, when we buy companies from people, there are people out there that are trying to decide, like, when is the right time for me to hang this up, right? Like, and so I think this is like an important story because, I mean, we've had an awesome relationship. We've had an awesome run. You are a huge part of, what we've built this thing to, and, could easily continue to go, but you feel like led in another direction.
Yeah.
And I think there's probably some people out there that are kind of like wrestling with this, right? Like,
100%.
Even though things are going well, I feel like I need to be doing something else. And so, like, how did you, obviously you brought your relationship with the Lord in with it, but how did you kind of like reconcile?
Well, a lot of faith, and something I think, I've mentioned this book a couple of times. I don't want to make the book out to be like this is the solution, but the way it was, in the book, he talks about living in your truest self and not making decisions based on fear. And a lot of people make decisions based on fear.
Right. What's comfortable, like
or what would happen if I left? Or what would I've got it really good right now. What's the opposite of that? It could be horrible, and so that would be a fear-based decision.
Right.
Therefore, I will just stay.
Right.
And I didn't want to make that decision. So that book helped kind of open my eyes to that. And I think for people out there who are considering, hey, is now the right time? Just ask yourself, are you doing what you feel like you were created to do? It's kind of one of the questions I was asking myself. And then I look back, and it's kind of the gap in the gain. I look back at the past 11 years, and I'm like, man, this has been an incredible period of growth for me. Like, you've been a huge part of that, right? Like, learning to grow personally and professionally, and so that has actually, I think, prepared me for what's next.
Right.
Like, I feel like, hey, how can we take this $10 million organization to 100 million?
Yeah, and I don't think you specifically said it, but you're actually going back to the not-for-profit you founded.
I didn't finish the story, so let me finish real quick. So I told Matt Letourneau, I don't know what's happening, but I just, I feel I'm leaving Evernest. And he said, well, Spencer, you'll never guess where I just was in Atlanta, what I was doing. I said, I don't know what you're doing. He said, we have a consultant there, and I was meeting with him because we're creating this role, and I've got to have someone there. And so I was talking to him. I was even asking the consultant, maybe you could do this part-time, or could you, I don't know what it would look like. And he says, the consultant was like, time out, stop. What do you really want, Matt? Tell me what you really want. And he said, honestly, if I could have anything, I would have Spencer.
Yeah.
I didn't I didn't have any idea that he was talking to that guy at
Right,
all.
right.
And so when he told me that, he said, Spencer, like, you're the person I was thinking of when I was creating the role. And I said, well, what's the role? And he's like, it's chief marketing and communications officer. So in charge of obviously marketing, which is what I do here, but then how do we communicate to donors?
Yeah.
How do we really communicate?
Which you do a
the
lot of
message?
that here as well.
Yeah,
right?
I do a lot of that here. And before here, I did that there, right? I did that at Neverthirst. I communicated. I was the voice of the organization. So,
and to some degree, like that's the role of the leader, and that's why you know at Neverthirst you did that.
yeah, that's right. That's right. Especially when you're small.
Yeah.
Like, you're it. I was the fundraiser.
Yeah,
I was
you're
everything.
cashing the checks and taking the checks to the bank.
I hired our very first fundraiser named Brandon Gossett in 2012, and he's still there.
Oh,
He's chief
that's
development
crazy.
officer. He is the key to raising money. And so he said, well, let's talk further about this. So I met him for coffee. We sat there and chatted. And over the Thanksgiving holiday, he called me and was like, listen, man, I want you to come and here's the offer. And please talk to Allison about it and come back and let me know what you think. And I had to go to Allison and talk about, are you ready to take a pay cut? Like, are you prepared to take a pay cut? Because this is what it would be. It'd just be like, but I said, Allison, I don't want to make a decision based on fear.
Yeah.
And I said, but if you're not in, this is what I told Allison, if you're not 100%, then it doesn't matter. I'm not going to do it.
Right.
Like 100%, I love what I do. I can keep doing it. And maybe there's something else I'm supposed to do. I don't
Right.
know. I'm okay. And by the end of Thanksgiving, we didn't talk about it anymore over Thanksgiving, but that Saturday she was like, I'm 100% on board. I trust you. And she loves the organization. And so I called Matt that Saturday and told him yes. And then I came in your office that Monday morning and sat down with you and talked to you face to face.
Yeah. And we had a great chat and did
Yeah.
some reminiscing. And so that was
That was
a
good.
lot of fun and a very special time.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then you also broke it to me that you're taking a week off before you leave.
I
too.
said,
So
I hate to be this
much
guy,
like,
but I'm going on
I'm sure-
vacation.
yeah,
going
I'm
to
sure a lot
Bahamas.
of people will appreciate that Spencer is leaving and taking vacation at the same time.
I was like, what can I do just to really screw this whole thing up? No, I had this plan.
So we're having to record this early. I mean, Spencer still got on the payroll for a few more weeks here.
Yeah. I said I'd spend as much time, and I went and talked to Graham about it, who I report to directly, and talked to Graham. I said, man, however much you need me, whatever you want me to do, I'm happy to do it and stick around.
And you've done it the right way. We
Yeah.
talk about one of the things we always talk about is like leaving a career wake.
Mm-hmm.
And the way we say it is how you leave a place is almost as important as however long all the things you accomplish
sure.
while you're there. Because if you leave it in a bad place, then
People remember that.
people remember, that's all they remember,
Yeah,
unfortunately.
right. That's right.
And so, what I would say is you're doing an incredible job of modeling that for the rest of the organization. And actually, your team now knows, but the rest of the organization,
Yeah, my
doesn't
team
know yet.
knows. The rest of the organization does not. Graham
By the time they hear this, that y'all hear this,
yeah, Graham wanted to wait until I was in town, you were in town, and he was in town. So
Yeah.
like the stars are going to align in like January 2nd.
Yeah.
is what he wants to do, and I'm fine with that. And so, and then it'll be released. That'll be on a Friday, and it'll be released the next Monday.
And then, one thing I'm worried about, because you go to a lot of these conferences and everybody thinks you're the CEO.
That's right.
And so
That's right.
I don't know how
They
we're
think
going to
I'm the owner
reconcile
or the
that.
CEO.
That's
Wow. And I've really enjoyed that. I appreciate all of you who are listening who've
Yeah.
come up and said something
Yeah.
to me.
I mean, I always say the biggest thing I hear when I get to these conferences, where's Spencer?
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm on the podcast too, y'all.
You are. Yeah.
I
You're
carry the weight every now and then.
You are affectionately known as the mascot of the company, and you just might have to get out there a little bit more.
I know. It's just going to put a whole lot of burden on me.
Or maybe we can kick Gray out of the office and get him going places.
There you go.
People like Gray.
And whoever's listening better like Gray, because Gray's going to be sitting in your chair next time.
That's right. Gray is going to be the co-host. He's going to be. He'll have to make up his own intro and kind of do it his way, but
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, we'll have to cast lots or whatever about who's gonna or arm wrestle over who's gonna
who's going to do the intro?
Yeah, who's gonna be the intro guy and who's gonna be the color commentator. So, well, I think it goes without saying, like what you've done here is absolutely incredible. We realized that now you've been here 11 years because I think we celebrated your 10-year anniversary last year. I still owe you that watch.
I was looking for the watch.
So that thing's in the mail. And
it got lost in the mail.
What you've accomplished here is incredible. One of the things I would say is like, what stands out to you as some of the memories you've had at Evernest that just kind of like stand out over the 11 years?
Well,
the stories.
When I sat in your office, I couldn't. I got so emotional I could barely talk. So this would be really tough. Gee whiz. I mean, the thing that I have loved. Cut this out. The thing I've loved about Evernest is, the crazy thing was, Matthew, I believed you when we sat at Billy's in that restaurant, and you said, "Come help us get to 25,000."
Now I think it was at Nuke's, but we have a
no. Let me tell you.
Okay,
we met at Nuke's with Brian Miles.
Yeah,
that was the first time the three of us got together, and that was great. And then I sent you an email and said, "Hey, your marketing is horrible. I could probably help you." And I was thinking kind of like on the side.
Right.
And you were like, "Well, let's go to lunch." And so we met at Billy's, and you brought Matt Lavelle.
Okay, this does ring a bell, actually.
You brought Matt Lavelle.
You're right.
And I was
like,
you were like, "Tell us what you would do," and I was like,
and you found that email recently,
I did,
right?
Yeah. I found the email and our email chain. And then I got up and used the bathroom, and I came back, and you were like, "Why don't you help us come to get us 25,000?"
I do remember you going to the bathroom and me and Lavelle talking while you were in the restroom and trying to figure out, like, we ought to just make him come work with us.
Yeah. That's the way it went. So we kind of went back and
11 years
forth.
ago.
Yeah, 11 years ago, we went back and forth for a couple of months, and so I believed in you. You and I had known each other since around 2004, so we'd already known each other for 10 years. So we've known each other for over 20 years, and so I trusted you, believed in you. And then coming to work at Evernest back in the day when you and I were sharing an office in that old little house, and it was jam-packed, the culture that I thought, we'll see what culture really is. It's usually just some sayings that people have. It was real. How passionate you were about developing people got me excited because I hadn't really ever thought that way before. And like, hey, if you always kept telling me, if we can develop people, it will not only help them, it'll help the company. Like, it'll be the best thing for everybody, and they'll win, we'll win. It'll be huge. And so I think, just getting to work really closely with you, and especially in those early days, was fantastic.
Back when I was running the accounting department.
Back when you were running the accounting department.
Where there was like a 50-50 chance that the statement was right.
We had, there are plenty of them were wrong, I'm sure. We had statement days where we sat there and reviewed statements. They even brought marketing guy in to review statements.
Yeah.
So I'll remember that always. I always remember the first group of 25K people. Like we kicked off the 25K. I honestly didn't think it was a great idea. You did. You were right, 100%. It's absolutely fantastic. I've loved that.
It only took 11 years for you to tell me I'm right.
Right, yeah, I'm telling you now on my way out. The whole, I got another appreciation for how good structure and good companies, how they, like, this is not anything I did at Neverthirst, honestly, in the first 5 years. I wasn't running EOS. I didn't have an operating system. So I was running it by the seat of my pants. And I've learned so much from just the structure, the discipline, just the way the companies run along with the culture. And ultimately, it's really about the people and the relationships.
Yeah.
And we've had some great people come through Evernest over the past 11 years I've been here, like characters, funny people that were like, this is hilarious that this story happened. And then just some fantastic people who had a tremendous contribution to Evernest and then went on and did other things, which is fantastic. So yeah, I just like, there's nothing, there were hard times, but I mean, if you're trying to do something big, there's always going to be hard times. There's always going to be difficulty. There's always going to be doubt and frustration and like, oh man, is this really going to work? always going to be that. But I've learned so much about myself through the whole process, just
when you do hard things, you learn stuff about yourself.
You learn
right?
stuff about yourself. And when you grind and grind and grind, and then all of a sudden you start seeing results, you're like, wow, it does work. And so,
well, and to some degree, that's kind of, if I like read into this, I mean, it's kind of what you want to do is get back to, maybe you feel like over the last year while you were operating your sweet spot, it may have been too easy.
Well, yeah. I mean, yeah. Is there a sense of me like, am I being challenged? And, I've thought about that, but I think I just love, there's really 3 brands that I love with all my heart. There's Neverthirst, which is where I'm going back to work.
Yep.
It's my baby. I started it. And I'm glad other people have taken it and grown it. And now I'm going to come back in and help grow it more. So Neverthirst, Iron Tribe Fitness, which is a buddy of mine who started a gym here in town. I'm lifelong. And then it's Evernest. Like, those are the 3 brands. And so I would work for any one of those, right? Because I believe in the people. And it's not that, I don't know if it's that it's gotten too easy or too much in my sweet spot. I just think that, the Lord has taught me what I needed to know to be super valuable back there at this time and in the stage where they are right now.
Yeah. So we also often talk too, there's, and you and I had this conversation ironically a couple months ago, or maybe it was a month ago. It was like, when we think about people that have played a part in our organization, and you talked about remembering some of the names, one of the things that I've seen over and over again is that there are certain people that are good at certain parts of the arc of the business, right?
Yep.
So the one I always think of is a guy that used to be our COO, Trey Griffin. Like, he helped grow our business from maybe 5 million in revenue to almost 50 million in revenue. And he also, ironically, was the Iron Tribe COO for some period of time. Right. And they grew from something similar, right? I don't know the exact numbers, but he helped grow that business from being fairly small to being somewhat bigger. And the conversation I had with Trey and I had was, you need to go do this for yourself. Like, you are so good at growing something from where it is at, $2 to $5 million of revenue to 50. Why wouldn't you go do that yourself? And so to some degree, you're kind of like going to Neverthirst and saying, hey, you're taking Neverthirst from where maybe Evernest was 5 years ago and helping them get to where Evernest is today.
Yeah, 100%. I've thought about that conversation because we talked about Trey, and Trey's out there crushing it right now.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
I should have added that to the story. He did that.
He did that,
and now he's doing really well. And I shouldn't say that like it was my idea, because he's an incredibly bright guy and he had the idea too. But like, it's very clear that people are good at certain parts of the arc of an organization.
Yeah, and you and I have talked about before, even like I don't love managing a lot of people. That's not kind of my wheelhouse. I'm good with a small team, and I like the creative side of things, and that's why I've loved having Kayleen on my team so much, just because she's a freaking doer. Like, she crushes work, and like she gets all the stuff done. I may have the idea, and then she'll take it and figure it out.
And she loves managing the people and leading the people.
She loves that.
That's right. And as the organization grows, she'll continue to be in her sweet spot of doing that.
That's right. That's right. And so I think I look back and I'm like, I'm looking forward to Neverthirst, and I'm just like, the past 11 years have absolutely equipped me to go in there and I think add tons and tons of value. And apparently Matt thinks so, or whatever. But so I'm just excited. New problems, new issues, but it's going to be fun.
That's great.
Yeah. So I do want to say, I don't know if this is gonna be a struggle here. I don't. Well, wow. Oh, maybe I can't say it. Maybe we should just cut this out. that bad. That's crazy. That's crazy. You know, let me just say, I'll say it this way so I won't get too personal. How
Sure.
about this? I'll say it this way. And really, I'm talking to the audience. Whoever's listening, if the three of you that listen to this podcast, the three of you listen to this podcast, I do want to encourage you because you never know what kind of impact you're going to have on your people, right? If you run your business the right way and you truly care about the people, you will never, ever know what kind of impact you're going to have on them. I think that's probably the greatest gift. And that's why we always say we want to see people shoot out of the top and not fall out of the bottom. It's not about making us look good. We truly want them to succeed. And so we've got story after story of that. And we also have people, that hadn't gone always right, but I do want to say that like you have been a huge part. I think I get this from my dad. My mom is she's so just like steady. My dad is like, he'll tear up in a heartbeat. You have had such a tremendous impact on me and my life. And really, I even think my worldview to some respects, like truly do respect you. I know you care about the people that work for you. And also, I think one of the things that I really do appreciate, you want to win as bad as I do. You want to win. You're a competitive guy. I'm a competitive guy. I love to win. And you just had you've shown me how to do that the right way. And the right way is through discipline and not giving up and just discipline. And this has been a whole discipline journey for me. I just will never forget. It's probably, I had already been working with you and kind of observing you for several years. And then it probably wasn't until 2017, 2018, I got super serious about it. And, so I have like,
and to your credit, you're one of the most disciplined people I know.
Well, I
even feel like you push me at this point. I'm just
no.
You're so good at this.
You're going to have a huge impact on Neverthirst. Like I think that's a good way to say it. Like and you won't be there. You may see successes, but I want you to know you will 100% have an impact. It's just this trickle effect. It's like who you plant seeds in, and whatever happens. Like you may not see the growth of everything that happens, but you'll have a huge impact. So
well, I appreciate you saying that. That's very kind. Look, you don't always find people that just buy in, right? And not that you like bought in overnight, but you did buy in. And we kind of like we've always had this kind of like North Star of like what perfect looks like, or from a like execution and discipline standpoint. And neither one of us hit it, but we certainly have focused on it. And so, this is going to come as a real shock to the organization because you're such a huge part of the organization. People are very, people are very passionate about you because you're so passionate about them, and obviously probably the most well-liked person in the organization.
Who doesn't love a good marketing person?
That's right. If not number one, top five.
Well, when I'm not their boss, it's easy to like me, right?
Yes, but you're, I was actually with somebody the other day at a conference, and they were talking about how awesome our marketing was and how they just can't believe at all the stuff that we put out. And so obviously, we have as an organization, can't skip a beat. You're going to leave a big hole, but that obviously would never be filled, but we've got to pick it up and keep rolling. And Jacob's in here with us. I'm talking to him as much as I'm talking to me, right? But look, you've laid the groundwork and gotten us so far, and really excited to be able to build from here. And we'll be certainly cheering you from the stands here.
I'll be y'all's biggest fans. I can't wait to see 250,000 doors, and just to like be able to think back and like, wow. Like I was in the It wasn't a garage necessarily, like Apple, but it was a
I
little
think
house.
a garage may be nicer. I drove by the office the other day, and for people who don't know, the office that we officed out of, it took them a year to re-rent it. That's how bad the place was.
And it's cheap.
Yeah,
And for this area,
nobody
it's very cheap.
wanted to rent this place kind of like in the sweet spot, in the heart of a really nice town south of Birmingham. It took a whole year. So
That's how bad it was.
That's how rough it was.
And we're sharing offices. Like Matthew and I were sharing an office with an intern at one point, and like 3 of us in there, headphones on if you had calls or whatever, just hammering away. So those, I'll look back when we hit 250,000 doors, I will look back and go, wow, I was a part of those early days, and that was fun.
Well, we may get you to plan the party because you are probably the funnest person left here.
That's right. I can do that.
Well, cool. Well, Spencer, thanks for the 11 years, buddy.
Thank you.
I'm sad to see you sign off for the last time of the Property Management Show after 5 years. And I know the audience is going to be sad. Y'all are going to have to give us a little bit, though. You're going to have to at least trust us that we're going to find our rhythm here again.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Yeah, you will. You will. And I appreciate it. The past 11 years have been incredible. And I've loved this podcast. Like, this is probably my favorite podcast to do, just to hang out here and talk to you. And yeah, so thanks.
Well, it's good. Do you want to take us away for the last time?
All right, that's it for this episode of the Evernest Property Management Show. We will be back maybe next week or sometime around then. Maybe.
Well, we won't, but I will. Yeah, I'll be back next week.
Matthew will be back. Maybe he'll drag Gray in here in the microphone. They'll be back next week with another episode. Until then, we'll see you later.
Bye, y'all.